His face is a weapon. Coulen is so handsome, women lose control and fate at first sight, forcing him to live under a helmet. But when his dramatic family forces him into a normal school, he has to expose his secret, and the entire city goes wild. The only thing that can save him? The one girl who doesn't even look at him. Get ready for the hilarious chaos of a boy who's too handsome for his own good. So let's start with the recap. Our protagonist Coulen tells us how the lives of his handsome family overshadow the way he spends his days, because for them, beauty is everything. So he introduces us to his older brother, Okus, who believes his face is an advantage. There's also his father, who has always been a womanizer and has a record of dating 1,200 women. There is also his mother, who won over her husband not only with her beauty, but also with her great cooking. And finally, Coulen, who is so beautiful that women run after him or faint just by looking at him. But he doesn't like his beauty and prefers to stay home all day, studying online and playing cards with his best friend, his pet fish, Antonio. However, his family worries about how lonely he is, so they constantly watch him while they try to convince him to leave the house every time they get the chance. But our protagonist refuses to socialize. In fact, his brother tries to introduce him to girls, but his goal is to find someone who is not interested in him, something that is very difficult given his face. And so, they all devise a plan that they carry out when the boy comes down to get water during the night. His parents pretend to talk and say that they are bankrupt, so the father will start looking for an in-person job to pay for Coulen's studies from home, and the mother offers to cook only scrambled eggs to save money. But upon hearing all this, the young man goes to his room devastated because he doesn't want to be a burden to them. The next morning, he goes to his parents to tell them that he wants to attend a regular school, and his brother jumps for joy because he already has many tips about girls prepared. But he is disappointed when Coulen tells them that it must be an all-boys school, and they have no choice but to accept. After a while, Zoom takes his younger brother to his first day of classes, and upon leaving, he refuses to take off his helmet. So he walks the hallways in fear until he reaches his classroom, where the bullies do not greet him well. Then the teacher arrives to calm the mess, and when she sees him, she orders him to remove the helmet, but upon seeing his face, they have to take her out of the school in an ambulance. And since they will now be starting to look for him, he runs until he trips over the bullies, who take him to a warehouse. There, they introduce themselves as the Three Stacks, with a ridiculous Special Forces style performance. And your leader, Dee, tells him that they kidnapped him because they want him to woo Amanda, the most popular girl in the girls' school, and make her accept his proposal for the graduation dance, or he will face the consequences if he fails. After the bullies leave, Coulen goes to accuse them with the principal, despite Zoom telling him not to. So they arrive at the office, and our protagonist tells him everything they did to him, and the principal begins by agreeing with the young man. Finally, he orders that Coulen must do what Dee told him for the good of everyone, since he is Dee's father, and the boy has not wanted to graduate because he wants to have a dance. Then the principal threatens the boys to fulfill what he asked of them, or they will never graduate.
After a while, he connects a little more with Kibo, who tells him that he is just another victim because his brother always beat Dee in soccer, and when he graduated, the bully took it as revenge. So he can't do much to defend himself. Together, they agree to comply with the demands of the Stacks. So the next day, they go to the girls' school, and everyone comes out to insult Tung's ugliness. So our protagonist takes off his helmet to calm the crowd, and the school ends up exploding. But it explodes with ecstasy because all of the girls in the school went crazy over Coulen's beauty, and the scandal was so great that it made the news. We find finally see Amanda, who is clearly very interested in him at first sight. Now he has become so famous that his parents sell tickets for young women to see the house, and we also see that his father still hasn't lost his touch with the girls. Back home, Coulen sees on the news everything his family is doing and begins to cry inside his helmet for feeling used. But he is recognized by the women and begins to run away from them until he reaches a rooftop where his brother calls him. So he takes the opportunity to complain about everything they do and even finds out that his fish has died. Then he decides to leave everything behind and walks toward the edge of the building to jump until he's interrupted by a girl who surprisingly doesn't go crazy over his beauty, which makes the boy's heart beat for someone for the first time. After that,
Kibo takes him to his house
so he can stay away from his family and introduces him to his grandmother, who also doesn't go crazy when she sees his face, so he finally feels at home as a normal person.
And when Kibo takes him to his room, Coulen sees the collector cards he has been looking for a long time and still hasn't been able to find. The next morning, there is talk on the radio about what happened at the girls' school and how popular our protagonist has become, so he tells his friend how difficult his life has been, having to endure all the attention from people for being handsome, and he finds out the name of the girl on the rooftop, Régine. Then, the new friends visit the girls' school again in search of Amanda. Coulen is nervous and tries to answer all of her questions about the proposal for the graduation dance, and although she remains firm in front of Coulen, she cannot avoid a nosebleed when the boys leave. And as they leave, all the students crowd around our protagonist, just when the mysterious girl appears who ignores him again. Later, the friends are in the cafeteria when they receive the news that the dance has been approved, and all the students from teachers begin to celebrate because it will finally take place. In a change of scene, we see the dance underway, and the same girl approaches Coulen as his date to kiss him, but it was all a dream of the protagonist, showing how truly interested he is in her. Now we see him sharing moments with his friend that he has never experienced because he finally has someone to talk to and play with normally, while enjoying watching soap operas with the grandmother, making him feel like part of the family little by little, and even helping him improve his grades in school. One morning, Kibo wakes him up to go play soccer with the neighbors and tells him that he will show him his crush, although he's worried about whether he will play well. In the game, we see Coulen's beauty abilities go even further, making his teammate look handsome and other boys, and they become popular for a moment, although the effect only lasts a couple of hours. While our protagonist waits for his friend to show him his crush, the friend tells him that she apparently won't come and runs to go to the bathroom because nature calls. Then a sales cart approaches and he finally meets the girl from the rooftop. And very shyly, he introduces himself, trying to get closer to her, until Kikubo arrives, who already knows her and invites them to eat something. Even the vendor coquettes with the handsome boy here. And then they talk about the graduation dance, which she is not very interested in going to. This is when Coulen begins to see the girl's true attitude. But he also realizes that she is his friend's crush because of how well they get along. After a while, they are at home, and Coulen says out loud that he wishes he were a normal person and could be treated like anyone else by other people. Sometime later, he meets his brother and tells him that he is no longer angry with him or with his parents, who are also hidden there. So he asks for help to win over Régine, and a whole lesson begins on everything he must learn to be able to get the girl of his dreams, although he may have to compete with Kibo for her. The next day, everyone at the boys' school goes crazy. Amanda arrives, bringing an invitation to Coulen to her birthday party, along with the new cell phone. All his classmates are excited because it's a tradition that if you invite one person, you are inviting the whole school. He doesn't understand why she would invite him, and the others tell him that she probably wants to take him to the dance as her date. During the night, Coulen studies his brother's book on conquering girls to put it into practice during the karaoke session the three of them go to. But upon hearing her sing his favorite song, he realizes that
Régine is also in love with his best friend and takes advantage of the moment when his friend leaves the room to tell Régine that Kibo actually likes Amanda and invites her to the party to prove it's true. So, after karaoke, he calls her on the phone. Now we get to the night of the party where the pretty girl looks interested in Kibo and takes him by the hand until Coulen arrives and she sees them kissing. Then she leaves heartbroken and Coulen takes the opportunity to follow her and let her know that he's there for her. But after a hug, he ends up being rejected by his crush. After that, the lucky friend becomes the unfortunate one when the three stacks beat him up for kissing Amanda, and our protagonist does not intervene. But after the bullies leave, he takes him to his house for his grandmother to heal his wounds.
Sometime later, the handsome boy cannot contain his guilt and begins to hallucinate while watching the soap opera. And during the night, Kibo gives him one of the collectible cards he has been looking for so much. So he is motivated to confess to his friend that he made a deal with Amanda in which he had to kiss her to go to the dance with her. As a result, his friend kicks him out of his house and takes the card away. So he walks in the rain and returns to his family, feeling alone again in his house and at school. During dinner, Oki starts a word game that no one understands, and Coulen takes him to his room. However, later his mother goes up to return Antonio, the fish, who apparently never died and was just an excuse to try to make him come back. She also tells him that they never needed money and that every year they agree to make him leave the house and truly live, but that they will no longer force him because they love him just the way he is. The next day, Coulen goes to play basketball with his father, and in a conversation, his father tells him that he was once rejected by a girl, showing him that physical beauty is not everything, and a good attitude with a good heart is better than a pretty face. So our protagonist runs to find Régine and then visits his ex-friend to invest to her because they both like each other and deserve a chance. So he begins to say everything he likes about Régine, believing it was too late when she was listening to everything through Coulen's phone. And that is how our protagonist tells us that all the days of normal school were worth it, because he was finally able to find people who see him as he truly is and not just by his appearance, showing us that things with Kibo and Régine were finally fixed, while Coulen goes to pay his debt and takes Amanda as his date, shattering the feelings of the three. The other couple dances to a different rhythm at the party, and when our protagonist and his companion are crowned king and queen of the dance, the boy hears someone say that his beauty is not that great, which makes his heart race uncontrollably.
If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other recap. Until next time!